Namaste, beautiful beings. This is Belinda Pearl, and welcome to our weekly Oracular divination experience. Today, I just want to give us a little lay of the land so we can see where we're going in this new trajectory. We've just crossed a big bridge, and also not to forget, today is 11/11, the 11th month, the 11th day of our calendar year. Many of us believe that 11/11 is a doorway. It's ascension portal, if you will. I did a little sort of download, if you will, on the 11/11, kind of give you like a brief outline of what it means. So if you can listen to it on my YouTube channel, or I have a link, I think, somewhere in my Instagram to it as well. So if you can't find it, let me know. I'll also probably post it here, so on this channel, if you can't find it on my other channel. But I want to give us a little lay of the land and see where we are energetically, maybe read us a poem, and then see how we can go from wherever we are to wherever we're supposed to go, or at least help us navigate that way through, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take a deck of cards. I've been reading with these Rumi cards. They're sort of a new deck to me. I've been enjoying reading the Rumi poems in the book, or the interpretation or translation of them. And I always have been finding, since I've been using these, that it's quite on par with the energy of what we're going through. I did a little meditation, a little yogic type experience with like a theta brainwave sort of meditation, hypnotic experience earlier on with breath work, and there was cards that came up there which were totally in alignment. It was speaking about the card before it was actually saying that to move through the heart, that's the doorway of courage, if you will, and to fall in love, which I've been keep saying about 2020 is kind of what the guidance I was given last year, is reminding us to come back to the place of our heart, the home of our heart, which we've been mainly home most of 2020, coming back to that place within inside of us. And I know that not everybody has, every day is not like a pleasant experience for most people. People are going through stuff, so it's not to be like overshooting what people are experiencing, but how can we guide ourselves back to that place of healing in our hearts, so that as we're going through stuff that life is offering us, we can actually remember on a soul level, we can remember who we are too. So sometimes there are tragedies in this world that are beyond us, that it's beyond explanation, and in fact you don't want to even try to explain it in a way that try and figure out why this would be happening. But there is this piece that we go through on a human level. We've chosen this life. How do we go through these doorways? How do we go through these pains? How do we go through these shadows? How do we go through these shadowy times or these dark nights and find loving grace in all of that? It's a lot of work. It is definitely a lot of work. And also, I like to think of us as these evolving soul beings. So what we're experiencing, we're also doing this for the greater good of all humanity. But if you're going through the nasty stuff, that doesn't answer why you're going through that. So that's why we can only pray for and ask for guidance to help us move through this earthly plane with a little bit more insight, and help those where we can. That's, I think, important for us too. Being in our hearts is to be able to help each other, not just stand by and watch the scenery and say, oh boy, that's not happening to me. It's time for us to say, oh boy, that's happening in the world. How can I stand and be a light, and how can I make a difference? I think that is what we're being called through. If we look at the astrology, it keeps talking about us coming to this place of spiritual warrior, that part of our heart, soul rising. So if 11/11 is a doorway, how can you utilize this energy, this manifestation portal, some people like to call it, or ascension doorway? How can we utilize this? How can we empower ourselves? The other card that pulled out in the meditation before that was about losing your head, that no amount of head thoughts or thinking was going to help us navigate the world as a whole. So there was been a theme, and actually the theme that I had this week, about starting on a passage of meditation. Normally it's the unruly mind that distracts us and upsets us from finding the bliss state. But then why we've chosen this this hurdle or this challenge of the mind. Why is humanity, because we wanted to think for ourselves, right? That's maybe it. We wanted to think for ourselves. So maybe somebody like Rumi, who throws his heart open towards the sky and says, divine, please guide me. Maybe there's some wisdom in that. So let us see what helps to amplify the wisdom that we need. So let's take a deep breath in together. And exhale out through the mouth. And let it be. Let us see what Rumi has to share with us. It says, hand of Fatima. It's a 443 on the card. So there's this 4 energy, because the 11th month, 11th day, add those ones up, it's a 4, so coming back to the heart, like the 2020 is a 4 coming back to the heart. There's this 3 that keeps repeating, this trinity for us to step into, that it's not us by ourselves, it's you, your higher self, and the divine that's here to give you a hand. And in this imagery too, it's like we are connecting, and actually this makes a lot of sense to me too, just with the stuff that guidance is teaching me. I just say my guides come from the heavens above. My guides, I think everyone's guides comes from the heavens above, but my lessons, I should say, my education, I get educated a lot by divine guidance, and so I always find it quite interesting when there is like a synchronicity of it. So there's this female form that's at the bottom here reaching up, and then there's this goddess type of energy that's coming through. We've been seeing this essence in astrology too, with the lotus rising towards the surface. There's this feminine rising energy that wants to come through. So we're not alone here. It's also like a big wave as well. It's this hand of Fatima. So it's like if we feel like we're drowning, there's this divine hand that is actually reaching to us. And part of this is also our own personal energetic self. It's not just this body. We're more than this body. The previous conversation to this card was about, you know, we are this human body, this human form, this human life. But then there's also this greater part of us, maybe you believe in this idea that we're not just these bodies, that we are spirits indeed, that we are souls on this evolving pathway. So there's this piece of us that's teaching us to rise into like the heavens and to take the hand of assistance that is here for us, that is gifting to us. So I'm going to try to find this quickly in the book. It says 43 on here. So I want to read you the poem, Hand of Fatima. So see, these are the 2 cards that I pulled out earlier. So we see if they become relevant to this too. Let's find this really quickly in the book. And not quite there yet. This takes a while to move through these pages. There we go. It says, Hand of Fatima. I can never leave you, not for a moment, not for an hour. You are in everything I do. You are my everything. My drink is your sweetness. I move to your command. I am a surrendered prey in your hands, and you are my consuming lion. Your soul and my soul are truly one soul. I swear to our one soul, I long for no one but you. In the garden of your grace, I am only a germinating sprout. So this is a little bit of the meditation that I did early on today. Spoke about this. The crown of my blooming is the desire to be in your arms. My hand watches over you. It brings you blessings and comfort, protection and grace. Radiant with divinity am I, and you are my child, my beloved, my angel, my body too. I shall never leave you. Turn your inner eye to me and see the light of your grace in your heart. You cannot be harmed. You cannot be defiled. You can only ever be what you are, me alive, radiant with love. And so what's interesting too with this love is this is the courage of your love. The whirling goddess, and this one's interesting because her head is thrown back. And when I was reading the card just in the beginning, it's like there's a 30 on this card, so that 3 keeps coming up here. her head is thrown back, and the 0 is like spirit. It's like she's just moving and like she's dancing and swirling in this like immense back bend, if you will. So it even takes like a surrendering faith to be able to move through life and just allow your heart to shine the way through. And her heart is lit. It's actually, it looks like there's like orange around her heart center, or maybe it's a shawl that she's wearing, but this orange is this creative flare. Again, this feminine aspect, this divine feminine that's rising. The other one, and then it talks about this like these threads, and that without if there was like a knot in the thread, it couldn't go through the eye of the needle. And so it's like the knot is the mind, it's the thinking, it's the thoughts. And then the second card, it says the courage. Actually, this was actually the first card, the courage of your love. And it looks like there's like an eye of a needle, this like perception that we hold. And actually, as a look, they just reminded me of the story. It was such a powerful time. It's like, where do you, like, there's no amount of thinking that's going to help you move through the world. In fact, this is this saying that the divine is here holding us and helping us and holding our hand and leading us by our heart. So let us throw our heads back. Let's lose our head. That's what it said. Let us lose our head so we can go through that eye of that needle, which is this, that eye of a needle. See to that other realm. Know that love is here. It's abound. So that we can stand in and do our work and to reach up. That we know that we're not just this body, that we're more than this form, that we're this energetic self, this soul self that really wants to come and bring something forward. So that those that are fortunate, those are privileged, if you will, those that have running water in your house, it's time for you to take your hand and reach to those that don't and see how you can help. Let us move from that place of open-heartedness and to receive those that need help and send our hands to help them in any way that we can. Should we find that in ourselves? Can we become that new humanity? Can we become those ones that want to rise through the power of love, through the courage of love? So maybe it's something for us to think about. There's a new moon this week, so new beginnings, new seeds. Scorpio new moon, so shadows. Mars stations to go direct to on the same day as the new moon. So what is that telling us? There's a powerhouse. We have this 11 doorways, so where are we going? There's massive things to come. So may you open your heart and always be liberated through that space to be able to step into a place to help each other, to lend your hand to those in need. And it's just more than the small stuff that we see in this world. There's a greater picture to all of this. So again, hopefully all of that makes sense. From my heart to your beautiful heart, namaste. And again, this is Belinda Pearl. And you can find me at belindapearl.com. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Namaste.